Hi there, my name is Faith, and I really have been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a very long time, like since I was 12 in OG YouTube, and I finally decided that today's the day. So yeah, here I am. Today, I've been really thirsty for the Norvina palette that's coming out. However, your bitch is on a budget, so I'm too broke to buy it right now, and I was looking over my other palettes to see if I could kind of create a similar look, and I kind of realized that the My Little Pony palette from ColourPop may be a really cheap dupe for the Norvina palette. So I'm going to create an eye look today that I think could also be created with the Norvina palette to kind of give a cheap dupe option. Let's get started with that. Okay, so to get started, I'm just going to show you quickly the My Little Pony ColourPop palette. It comes with 12 shades, as you can hopefully see here. It has that kind of like pastel whimsical vibe that I kind of got from the Norvina palette. Obviously it's not an exact dupe, as there's like some blues in here and there's none of those in the Norvina palette. But I still thought like this purple shade and some of these transition shades kind of remind me of it, so I just thought I would do a quick little look with this. So to start off, I'm going to prime my eyes using the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw that on my lids. And then I'm going to blend it out with my damp Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. Next, I'm going to go into this palette. I could set my base with this white color right here, but I usually, if you're into that, you can do that, but I usually don't set my base because I've noticed that the pigment just won't stick to my eye when I do that. So if you notice you have a similar problem, then you should probably go ahead and not set your base.
Miss Keisha.
But I do know that there's a color kind of similar to this in the Norvina palette called Base. But instead what I'm going to do is take a fluffy brush. This is a Sigma E35 brush. No, this is a Sigma E40 brush. It's just a tapered blending brush. And I'm going to go in with this kind of transition, slightly peachy transition shade, because I know that there's lots of like pretty light transition shades in the Norvina. And I'm just going to go ahead and start blending that from the outer V of my lid all the way into the crease in little circular motions. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Flutterby, possibly. It's called something, I'll tell you that. And I'm just going to pick this up on the same fluffy brush, and I'm going to keep this, instead of putting it all up in my crease towards my brow bone like I took with the peachy shade, I'm going to keep it into my lower crease. So from the outer V to the lower crease, keeping it concentrated in there, just to give you some depth. And then I'm going to dip back into the peachy shade right here, and just kind of buff that on the outer part of the crease just to nice and blend that into the brow bone. So there's a seamless transition, because, you know, you don't want all kinds of jagged lines on your eyes and stuff. Unless you do, but that's not this video. This is a Morphe M575 brush. It's a slightly, as you can see from here, it's a slightly pointier taper blending brush, so it's going to concentrate the color more concentrated. It's just going to concentrate it. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to then go in with this purple shade. I don't know if there's a dupe to this in the Norvina palette, but like, just use a shade in the Norvina palette to deepen the crease, you feel me? I know that there's some kind of like reddish, purplish shade for this purpose, but you feel me. What I'm doing now is I'm concentrating with this smaller brush right into the outer V right here, and then taking it in a very tight line in the crease, kind of before, like, you can look and see in the mirror where your eye creases, and I'm kind of trying to keep it below where it creases so you can only see when I close my eyes, and then take it into the inner third of my eye as well. And that's going to create some more depth and a cool color dimension. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this small little packing brush. This is just an Eco Tools one, and I'm not really sure what the name is, but some kind of concealer or packing brush just to pack the shimmer shade on, because that is what we're going to do next. I'm going to take this shade right here, which I'm pretty sure is called Minty. And yes, I'm talking about this purple shade, not this shade that looks like it should be called Minty because it's ColourPop and they just like to do that. We don't know. So what I'm going to do is gather this shade Minty, I think it's called Minty, on my brush, pack it on the end there. I'm not going to tap, oh, okay, I accidentally tapped off the excess, but I'm trying not to. And I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of setting spray. And I have used this dry and it does show up, but it's better with some setting spray. And this is just the Tarte Ready Set Radiant setting spray. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to start at the inner third of my eye. Ooh, yes. I'm going to continue packing this, and then I'm going to bring it right out to here where I started deepening up was that more pinky shade. And I'm not going to worry too much about getting it super clean and like blended on the edge yet, because I'm just going to go in with a completely different brush for that. This is not the brush for that job. She has her purpose, but that's not it. Now that I have this purple shade all the way almost to my outer corner, but leaving just the outer third alone, I'm going to go in with this kind of pinky, peachy, shifty shade. I know that there's a pink shade in the Norvina palette. It's not exactly the same, but I'm just kind of trying to give the vibe of the Norvina palette, so... And I'm not about to find another eyeshadow, because then this would be just a more expensive dupe video, and like, no one wants that, so... Here we go! Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm going in with a Wet n Wild little concealer brush. Spritz her up. And I'm going to keep this on the inner third, starting at the inner corner. Ooh, yes! Ooh, that looks really, really cool. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I've laid down my color on both eyes, the shimmery shades, and I'm just going to go back in first with no color at all on this brush that we used initially to lay down the crease color, the Sigma E40. I'm just going to start gently blending the mattes into the shimmers so it's nice and blended and seamless. Then I'm going to go back in with this peachy shade, and I'm going to blend that at the top. Let me move my bang so you can see. At the top upper crease, just to blend this all together. And then I'm going to go in with the smaller tapered brush that we had used earlier and this more purpley shade and just re-deepen up the outer V to blend the purple shimmer that we laid down and this outer V. So now I'm pretty much done with everything that's happening on the lid. So now I'm going to start working on the lower lash line, and then the last thing I'll do is add the inner corner highlight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pencil by Marc Jacobs. Yes, I know this is supposed to be a cheap dupe video, but this is just the color that I have laying around. I know Wet n Wild makes a nice purple shimmer shade, probably for like $2. So just go get that if you're on the budget. But I got this when I was on less of a budget, so yeah. This is the color Lunatic. Very fitting. I'm going to pop this just on the lower waterline. Then I'm going to take that the small tapered blending brush and kind of flick off all the excess powder, because it's like kind of okay if it's on there, but I don't like really want it to be the last color we picked up, and I'm too lazy to find a different brush. So I'm going to start with this peachy shade and pick that up on this little tapered brush, and I'm just going to drag that pretty low under my lash line, because that's going to be the transition for the other colors that I add to the lower lash line. And I'm also going to kind of drag this up to the outer corner up here as well, so we can transition it and blend it seamlessly there as well. Next, I'm just going to go straight in. No, actually, I'm going to go in with this shade that we used to kind of deepen the crease, but not the outer V. And take that a little closer in. And then finally, I'm going to take I'm going to take the Vintage Cosmetic Company Step 3, Go Girl Go Brush. I got this in a BoxyCharm. And I'm just going to use that to smudge this pinkish purple color on just the outer, probably like half of my lash line. Okay, so just to give a little nod to Anastasia Beverly Hills, because that is the palette that this is supposed to be duping, I am going to use some Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting products. I also got these when I was still ballin', but now I'm not there anymore, so like, can't get the Norvina palette. It's okay, not bitter at all. Anyway, I'm going to highlight with these, and these are also very whimsical, so, you know, kind of goes with the theme. But you know what, use whatever drugstore highlighter you want. Like, honestly, Maybelline Master Chrome would look bomb in the inner corners of this. Let's see, which one should we go in with? I have the Moonchild, and then I have the Sugar Glow Kit. Ooh, Starburst? Starburst. Okay, I'm going to go in with this pink shade Starburst, and I'm a little tan, so I actually think it will work and not be too dark for me. In the winter. Oh, and I'm also going to take a tiny bit of Gumdrop because it also has that pinky undertone reflect that's kind of like the theme. And I'm going to pop that in the inner corner. Ooh, yes, bitch. Do you see that? Okay. And then I'm just going to hit my brow bone with a highlight as well. Alright, I'm going to finish up the rest of my face off camera and I will be right back. Alright, so I finished up the rest of my face and this is how the final look came out. I'm going to give you a few poses so you can see it. Alright, so this is my completed look using the My Little Pony palette from ColourPop. And I really do think that this is a pretty comparable look that you could achieve with the Norvina palette. Obviously, it's not completely the same, but, you know, we're just kind of going for the Norvina vibe because, you know, maybe you got this in your BoxyCharm a couple months ago, and now you want the Norvina palette, but, like, you're too broke. Just whip this thing out, and you can have the same whimsical vibes. Thank you so much for watching, if you've watched this far. If you have any questions about the other face makeup that I have on my face, please just leave a comment down below. And if you really like this video, why don't you go ahead and subscribe and like the video. Yeah. What else is there to say?